Welcome back to Mortgage Financing and Home Buyer Ready. I'm so happy to be here with you for another wonderful Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
I'm Barbara Grant Proctor with Cardinal Financial, and to my left, I have.
Jackie Abrams with Sampson Properties.
I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I don't know if you watched last week's show, but last week's show was a doozy. We're talking to you now about what's going on with the market, buying versus
Yes.
selling. But before we even get to that, I just want you to know if you'd like to be in the studio audience for any of our tapings, please email us at homebuyeraudience@gmail.com. And of course, if you have any questions, you can email us at homebuyingquestions@gmail.com, and we would just love to answer your questions on anything that you have on any of our shows,
That's right.
Jackie.
That's right.
Anything that you have any questions on. So please give us an email, or please email us for our home buying studio audience. So today our topic, we're going to continue on, and our topic is going to be how to win a contract. So I want everybody to stay tuned. We're going to be right back with you shortly.
It is key that you mind your mental health.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing this week? Hi.
Use the 5 keys to mental
Well, this week
movement.
has been a really monumental week for me. I realized that I was not being myself.
Reaching out.
Be positive attitude person self, like you guys know me to be. I was
Staying
listening to
upbeat.
teaching and give back to that happy, cheery self you guys of me.
This week's been kind of
Being
stressful,
creative.
all of the workload that we have on online learning. So I've been trying to use different platforms and different websites to help ease my mind and ease my stress.
And what about you, Margaret?
Well, you guys know me. I just love to work with others and serve them.
Serving others.
Realize that when I serve others, my mind is off of myself.
That's right. And don't forget, self-care is key.
Self-care.
All right. So see you guys next week.
Right.
Bye.
Your mind matters.
And welcome back to Mortgage Financing and Home Buyer Ready. As we spoke about last week was an
Yes,
awesome show,
it
wasn't it, Jackie?
was.
I mean, we got a lot of
It was a lot
information
of
given out, and a
information.
lot of questions was being
Yes,
asked
it
about it.
was.
I mean, because right now people just don't know what's going on
That's
with
right.
this market.
That's
But what we can help you
That's
with,
right. That's
right?
right. That's right.
how to be home buyer ready. That's
Hello.
what we can help you
That's
with.
right.
So
That's
we're
right.
talking here, today again about buying versus selling. And Jackie's put some wonderful tips and things together for you in the real estate market
Yes,
today. So
yes.
today we're going to talk about how realtors can possibly win the bid or contract in this seller's market.
Yes, because as we talked about last week, it was buyer's market versus seller's market.
Yes,
So
yes.
we know this is a seller's market on steroids. That's
Seller's
what
market on
that's what I like to
steroids.
call
Yes,
it.
yes. Seller's
And
market.
so with that in mind, the idea of how to win a contract. Some people call it a bid. So bid contract, we'll kind of use that those words interchangeably. But so some of the things that I personally like to do is to get my clients ready for this crazy market
Absolutely.
before we actually, quote unquote, get out there.
Yes.
And so sometimes I've had clients who, Barbara, they were clients prior to the craziest part of
Yes.
this market. And so things were more relaxed, as I said last week. It wasn't that it was a buyer's market, it's just that things were more relaxed
wasn't
than
as
they are now.
crazy
It was
right
not
now.
as crazy. not as much of a frenzy. So I have to get them up to speed with what's happening.
Yeah.
So prior to us ever going out, as a matter of fact, one of the first conversations that I like to have with them when they are telling me the criteria that they want their home to have. So it may be the type of home, where the home is located, of course, the price range, some amenities that they want in the home, and then I'm setting up their carts to send them listings according to their to their
like
preferences.
their profile of what they
yes,
like.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
I like that, the cart.
Yeah, it's called a cart. Yeah,
shopping cart, like a shopping.
That's right, exactly.
And and it's funny because I always tell, once I do the approval, before I send it out, I says, well, I'm going to send your approval out. Go shopping. I never knew it was called a cart.
That's right. That's
Look
right.
at that. We're always in sync. Always in sync.
They go to a cart and they have their own portal. I don't think I've ever discussed any of that with you.
No.
They have their own
I'm
portal
hearing it
and
now for the
everything.
first time.
And so anyway, one of the things that I love to do, and I just did this probably about 2 weeks ago with a client, so I'm going to use this as a perfect example.
Okay.
So I like to say to the clients, before I even know myself, you've given me all of your parameters. How many homes do you think are in that area? So this happened to be that this person wanted to purchase in the Waldorf area. So how many homes do you think are in the that area?
Right.
Okay. So that was without any other parameters, just how many homes are going to be listed to sell. Okay.
Wow.
And so the person's, and this was in Waldorf. So the person said 300. So I said, oh, okay. And what do you think about that, Barbara? I love your reaction.
Oh.
I want to know what you think about that. Seriously.
300 homes in one specific location.
Okay. So you think that was over?
It was a stretch.
Okay. All right.
It was a stretch.
Okay. So we were I was on my computer about to check right then, and so I said, guess what? I said there were 99, so like 100
99.
basically. And she
One
goes,
third of it.
oh.
That's a big difference.
That's right.
1/3 of it.
But what that did is that was an immediate getting her in line with
Got
what
you.
else I was going to be saying down the road. Okay. That was an
Got you.
immediate thing right there. And I loved it.
Setting them up.
That's
setting them up.
So then the next thing I said, okay, so now I'm going to put in your price range.
Okay.
Because that was all the houses in Waldorf,
Okay, so
Barbara.
you're shrinking. You get it, and then you shrink it down.
That's
to,
right.
Okay.
That's right. So when
I'm
I put
loving
in the
this.
price range,
Okay.
it went down from 100 down to 25,
Wow.
Barbara. Okay.
Wow.
And then when I put in things like colonial and because some of those 25 homes were ranchers, some of those 25 homes
Got
were
it,
other
got it,
things.
got
Okay,
it.
that wasn't even town versus
Right.
single family.
Wow.
That was all the homes. So anyway, when I put in a few more parameters, like I said, colonial, and then I was told that they would like a certain age, the home to be of a certain age. And so
What did
when I
that go
put
down
that
to,
in,
Jackie?
you want to
go-
guess? Would you like to guess?
Okay, what was the age range?
So the age range was 2014 or newer.
2014 or newer. I would probably say it went down to 5 or 6.
Barbara, that's an excellent answer. It sure was. It's an excellent answer. I do believe it was 3.
I was close.
I do believe.
I didn't
but that
say
was,
10.
But that was given all the other parameters.
That the
all
person
the
had.
Other
Okay.
parameters.
Wow.
it went
So
down
from
to
100
3.
homes,
Yes.
down to 3 once they gave their specifications.
That's right. That's right.
That makes
that's
a big
right.
difference.
So
That makes
if
a big difference.
if there hadn't been an age limit, of course, because that's a pretty severe.
They wanted
age
a newer
limit.
home.
Yeah. So that really cut it a lot, and then also colonial versus the other styles, and it seemed like there was something else that may have impacted that.
And I'm
down
sure it
to
goes
3.
on bedrooms, bathrooms, finished basements. Do they give you all that too? Is
Yes,
that in the
you
shopping
can.
cart?
You can. Yes,
Okay,
it is.
okay.
It is. But I really hadn't put all of that in there.
Oh.
So by the time I did all of that, that's when it was down to 3.
Okay.
Yes,
Got
that's
you.
when it was down
Got
to
you.
3.
Awesome.
So anyway,
Wow.
my reason for that exercise, I like to call it, is because I really want my clients to start thinking about, because if you're thinking, okay, I have 300 choices. Let's just use that as, I have 300 choices. Hey, I can go looking for the next Ever how many days?
As a family member says, a plethora.
That's right.
A plethora
that's right,
of
that's
choices.
Right, that's right.
I love that
And
word.
so we, with that in mind, perhaps there would not be a sense of urgency that you really do need in this market.
Right.
And you may need that for different reasons, not just because of the market. You may need that because you need to get out of your apartment within a certain amount of time. If you're
Absolutely.
renting your rental home within a certain amount of time, or you're relocating. I mean, there are, as Barbara just said, a plethora of reasons.
A plethora
why,
of reasons.
why there may be, you may need a sense of urgency. But
Absolutely.
specifically in this market, because if you have 3 homes that fit your qualifications, do you think you're the only buyer who
Well,
may
it's a
want to
seller's
submit?
market, so we know there's buyers.
That's right. Who may want to submit for those same
Yeah.
3 homes. And so that means we need to get out quickly. There's certain things that need to happen based on that. And so
Wow.
that person was, oh.
Right. It helps you think
Yes,
as to
that's
what
right,
is it am I
that's
going to
right.
need to do
That's right.
to be that person that stands out and
That's right.
shines,
Hello,
right?
hello. So anyway, when I like to do that, I do that specifically for a reason. And I don't even have to really say what my reason is.
Right.
They just get it.
They just get, you heard it here now. So when she does it
They
to you,
just get it.
you just get it.
That's right. Because
But you
I
know
want.
why.
Mhm. That's
But you know
right.
why.
That's right. Because I want them to be ready for the ride, Barbara. That's
Yes.
what it is. It's a
called the
ride,
ride.
and I want them to be ready for this ride.
Yes.
And so that's one of the first things that I like to do to kind of get them kind of mentally thinking about it. That definitely does help.
It's all about that, not just jumping into stuff, but just kind of understanding your parameters
That's right.
and understanding your environment and actually what's
Exactly.
going on in the
Exactly.
industry today.
That's right. That's right. Another thing that I'd like for my clients to know is things about what's going to be coming down the road. So, for example, getting their earnest money deposit and already having that, Barbara, before it's time to write an offer. That can make a huge, huge difference.
Yes.
I often will say it once or twice, and then I'll come back later, meaning, maybe it could be a week or 2 later, have you got your earnest money deposit? And so sometimes I'll have clients say, yes, I already have it. I said, okay, so what did you do with it? And they, they let me know it's in a safe place, because that's what I've told them to do
Right,
with it.
right.
Put it in a safe place. And I said, okay, that means you're ready. So, of course, we've done all of our buyer documents, our broker docs,
Right.
and all of that.
Okay,
We've done all
okay.
that. So, anyway.
And that could be check, cashier's check.
Well,
money order.
actually,
It has to be cashier's check.
it doesn't have to be, but that's
Okay.
what I like to have the clients have. And
Okay,
the
which
reason
one?
a cashier's check.
Cashier's check.
And the reason that I like that is because, to me, that sends a clear message to the seller that you have this money.
That you have the money
Yeah.
because it's
Now,
already
I
in the
could write a
cashier's check.
I could write a check for $1 million.
Right.
I
It
could
doesn't
do
mean
that.
you have it.
So that's just my own thing, but it could actually be other.
Okay.
It could actually be a
Okay, I
personal
get
check.
that. I get that.
But just to bring some sense of seriousness about this.
Right.
That's why I like to do that, and I've always done that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The one
Okay.
time I didn't do that, I regretted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. I regretted it. So anyway, so the clients are prepared. They have their earnest money deposit. We've talked about how much it needs to be and all of that kind of stuff. One of the things that we specifically talk about now is that it's great if it could be 1% or higher of whatever the asking price is. So if
Okay.
you know your kind of general range, it doesn't have to be exact, but if you know your general range. And then some people will say, well, Jackie, I know I want to go up to 550, so I'm just going to get 5,500. Perfect. Other people, well, I'm floating between 450,000 and 550,000. So, I might get 4,500.
Right.
And that's okay
And
too.
that's okay too.
Okay.
It's just long are the days of $500,000.
Hello, I was
deposit.
just about to say that, Barbara. I was just about to say that. No, that is not happening at all. That is definitely
Yeah.
not happening at all. And some people say that if you want to be a little bit more impressive than the average buyer, that if you did higher than 1%, so that could be 2%. Now, I just saw somebody say they did 5%
Right.
Earnest money deposit. That's a lot.
Okay.
So just to give our audience some data to go with that. If a house is around $400,000, then of course the 1% would be $4,000, and the 2%, if they wanted to do that, could be $8,000. So,
and just to keep it in perspective, yes, you're giving the earnest money deposit, but if you are actively looking for a home and you know that you're buying a home, I mean, between your down payment and your closing costs, all that money goes towards that. That's just
right.
the earnest money deposit,
That's right.
showing that we're putting it down on the transaction.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So if you have the money for your down payment and your closing cost already, then it's okay to give that amount of money, because we're just going to credit it towards your transaction at the end.
That's right.
So
That's right.
not to say that that's money that just disappears.
Right. I'm so glad you brought that up, Barbara. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So the next thing that we need to do is we need to be on top of the search, okay? Because the search is everything, okay? And especially now, because homes are on the market for so less number of days, okay? Many less number of days, as a matter of fact. The average, this is Prince George's County, I actually just looked this up a couple of days ago. The average days on the market now is 14. So you have to think about what that means. That's every house, Barbara. That's every house that people want.
days.
That's every house that people don't want.
And I actually would have thought it was lower than that, because it seems like with our clients, as soon as they get ready to put a bid on a house, and it's been on the market
That's
1 or
right.
2 days.
That's right.
Then they put it under contract. So 14
That's right.
days.
Well, that's why I'm saying it's every
Average.
house.
Yeah, every house.
So yeah, it's
average,
not the
but
hot houses.
right.
The hot houses, you're right.
Yeah, they're going.
going
Okay,
in-
I get it. The hot houses
are going 2 to 3 days.
But even the
4
ones
days.
that are not hot,
Right. That's right.
14 days.
That's right. That's right. And so, 2015, true story. 2015, put my house on the market, and it was on the market for very close to 90 days. But that was okay.
Back
that
then,
was
that was okay.
That was okay. That's right. 60, 30, 60, 90. Now, if you see a house on the market for 30 days and you think you have, of course, the sellers always think that their home is a bag of chips and everything else.
Right.
Okay. They always think that. It's bringing the power. They always think that. And oftentimes it is, but sometimes it's not.
Right, absolutely.
And so 30 days, even if there's nothing wrong with the home, Barbara, the buyers, and as a buyer's agent, I'm saying, well, what's wrong with this house? Okay. And then you take a look, because when I pull up my cart, if you will, with all the listings that I've sent a client, I can see days on the market. I put that in.
Okay.
And so I can see that right away. So
You
if I
kinda
see
know.
30, I'm thinking, now if I see 200, 300, then it's new construction.
Okay.
Or there's a serious problem.
Okay. Okay. But nowadays in this market, 30 days is something that people just don't want.
Yeah, you just that's the first instinct.
Okay.
Doesn't always mean that, but that's the first instinct. And then sometimes the days are adding up because let's just say it got a contract in 3 days, 4 days,
Okay,
but
then
then it fell through. So then the clock stops, but then the clock has to start over again. So there could be extenuating circumstances.
Now, would that be in the realtor notes, like contract fell through, back on the market?
I am so glad that you said that.
Oh,
Yes, that will be in sometimes it's in the public notes also, but there's something called agent to agent notes.
Okay.
And in the agent to agent notes, that's definitely going to be in there.
Okay.
But then sometimes they don't want to put some information in there. Well, I love my system, and I like to. I'm an inquiring mind. I always want to know. You know that about me already.
Right. Absolutely. Jackie's gonna find out.
No matter what it is, I'm always trying to figure out something. When I have a little extra time, I might take a little extra time to try to learn something. So I don't remember now how long I've figured this little thing out, but I know some realtors who don't know this.
Oh.
And there's this little area in our system that shows every, not just transaction, but every move a listing agent made on that listing.
Okay.
Okay, I call it behind the curtain. That's
Okay,
what I tell my
okay.
clients. I'm able to see behind the curtain.
Wow.
And so it's not obvious. You have to know where it is. You have to know it's there. You have to know it's there and know where it is. So anyway, once I look behind the curtain, I can see that a house had 3 or 4 contracts on it.
Oh, wow.
Well, then I'm thinking, okay, now what's wrong
What's
with this?
going on
That's
here
right,
with 3 or 4
exactly.
contracts?
That's right, that's
Absolutely,
right. And then you
absolutely.
can see the time period at which the contracts fell through. So you can kind of estimate, is it home inspection? You know, was it the appraisal because of the timeline?
Right.
So then I kind of do a little analysis with my client and I let them know. And it's not that we're not going to go see it, but I want them to be informed.
Informed.
So, and that little.
So they know what they're looking
That's
at
right.
and why.
That's
okay.
right. And that
good.
little behind the curtain is wonderful. I've even used it to call an agent whose contract fell through to ask
Why?
why, what happened.
What happened with the
And it doesn't
contract.
tell you the agent's name. You have to have a little bit of knowledge to be able to figure that out. But it's right in there. So anyway,
Behind
I
the
don't-
curtain.
I don't
You've
wanna
heard it
give
here
away-
first.
To give away all of my
Behind
secrets.
the curtain. Jackie is going behind the curtain.
And yeah, I've called agents and we have wonderful conversations. I've learned a lot. So I love it. I love it.
It's about being informed.
That's right.
It's,
That's
all
what it's
about being informed.
That's what
yes.
it's about.
Yes.
Exactly. So when we see a home, we want to move on a home. We want to know, I want my clients to know everything about the home. So I send them notes. I send them what I call copious notes
Okay.
on the home, whether it's coming soon, how many days it's been on the market, if it's already been 10 to 12 days on the market and it hasn't moved or they haven't asked for offers to be submitted, you know, then if you're really interested and I see 10 to 12 days or whatever, then we need to get out there today.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
if we see, now in this market, if we see 1 or 2 days, we need to
Right.
get out there today or
Right.
tomorrow. We still
To
need
see
to get
this
out there
house.
quickly.
So
That's
you can
right.
get that contract
But I
done.
send out notes because, as I said earlier, sometimes there are agent-to-agent notes that my clients can't see.
Okay.
If they're in the public realm, I can see that, and then I at least know that they could see it.
Okay.
Whether or not they have, I never know,
Mm-hmm.
because clients are looking at these properties and my portal that I send them. They're looking at it on their phone. They're looking at it. Well, I won't say while they're driving, maybe while they're having lunch.
Right.
They're
Working.
distracted, in other words. And so I want to make sure that they see every note or every bit of information that they can about this house.
Absolutely.
Because it helps, to me, it helps them to either rule it in or rule it out.
Okay.
And they will hear me say that. We either
Okay.
want to rule it in or rule it out.
Okay.
So if it's in, great. Let me start scheduling to go so I can show you that home. But it could be one little thing that you didn't see that was in the public
Right.
area, that you
Right.
didn't see it. And then as soon as you see my notes, you are aware of it and you say, okay, Jackie, that's okay. I don't want to see this home. So that saves me.
A lot, yeah, and it saves the client
That's
a lot
right.
of
That's
time
right.
too.
That's right.
You
'Cause
know,
some
not taking up a lot of their time
That's
and
right.
a lot of your time. Well, it's taking up your time because you're actually looking at all of this, but it's not taking up a lot of their time and driving out
That's
there,
right.
looking at the house just to be disappointed.
That's right.
You know, within the house. So,
Exactly. And
so-
sometimes clients even take off from work, Barbara.
Right.
Because they're like, this is the house.
Right.
You know, maybe they've
I
been
think
in
this is the one I want.
I think this
Yeah.
is the one I
Because
want.
pictures
I'm
are
gonna take off.
everything.
Yes, exactly.
Pictures of everything. But
Actually-
when you actually go see it, is
Well,
is
that's
what
right.
it is.
That's right. That's
Wow,
right.
this is. I mean, I hope you guys out there. I hope you guys are getting this because this is just great, Jackie. I'm learning some stuff today too that you're actually giving us. But right now, of course, we have to take another commercial break.
Okay.
So please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with you on more on how to win a bid.
And we're going to get to that. We are.
We're gonna get to that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Badass us. Yeah, that's right. That's who we are. Badass us. What? Who are we? We are women. Beautiful, accomplished, and divine. That's right. Badass us. Yeah. Who are we? We are gentlemen. Our brothers, accomplished and determined. Yet, as society see us, we must still change the narrative. Yeah, that's right. Who are we? The black community. Remember us? We are accomplished. We are determined. We are divine. We are of greatness. That's right. The black community. Badass us. Who are we? That's right. Who am
welcome back to Mortgage Financing and Homebuyer Ready. We're sitting here and we're still talking about how do you win a bid, how do you win a
That's right,
contract.
that's right.
Our whole theme for the past month has been on buying versus selling.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
So that's what we've been doing. And, I'm asking Jackie because I want to make sure, because there's a way that she says it. And, I want to make sure that I'm saying that correctly. So Jackie, so where we left off, you were talking about we talked about the 1% and we having the EMD.
That's right. So
'cause
these are my little strategies, even before we ever
Here
go
we
out.
go.
Even before
Here
we
we
ever
go.
go out. So the last little strategy that I'd like to say is, and I'm going to say back in the day, of course, that was prior to COVID, I guess. Waiting to see homes, or most people still like to see homes on quote unquote the weekend. They're off, they're relaxed, they want to do that. What I say to my clients during the consultation is that's fine to do that, but if a house comes on the market, let's say it comes on a Thursday, which happens to be the most popular day to list a home, by the way. If it comes on a Thursday and you want to see that home on a Saturday, well, we just started talking. We just did our buyer consultation. We may not have even done our broker docs yet. We need to get moving. And so then you say to me, I'd like to see these homes on Saturday. Well, the likelihood is that you're going to have to get in my rotation of being able to see a home on a Saturday. So it may not happen that first Saturday. But what I say to clients is, what time do you get off from work? Is there any way possible we could see homes after you get off from work? So let's just say you want to see homes, since we're using Waldorf, in the Waldorf area, what time can you literally be at a home in the Waldorf area?
Right.
So they may say to me, 5 o'clock. And what do I say? That is absolutely perfect, because homes, and this is something that they don't know often, homes are open and available, many of them, not all, until 8 o'clock. Some are even available until 9.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
let's just use 8. So from 5 to 8.
3 hours.
3
hour
hours.
experience.
3
Look at this
hours.
house.
And if we needed to do that every day of the week, 5 days of the week, let's say, that's 15 opportunities to see homes.
And that depends on how motivated the buyer
That's
is.
right.
It
That's
depends on how
right.
motivated
That's
you
right.
are.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Instead of waiting for a Saturday to see a home, that you're not going to get me every Saturday. So it's not going to be that you're going to be able to see me 4 times a month on a Saturday.
On a Saturday.
So that just kind of gives you an idea of how seeing homes during the week, it does help.
Right, and I think that's with any realtor, because every realtor cannot take people to see homes Saturdays and Sundays, and a lot of realtors go out on Sundays too. But it depends on what your Sundays are made
That's
of, right?
That's
but a lot of
right.
realtors
That's
do
right.
Saturday and Sunday,
Saturday
but that's
and
not
Sunday.
always the case.
And I'm glad you said Sunday, because I actually just kind of ruled that one out. I didn't even think about Sunday, because that's not my day. That's not my day.
I get calls on Sundays from
that's
clients, and sometimes I'm like, it depends on what I'm doing at that moment, especially if it's after church. It depends on what I'm doing at that moment, whether I'll answer. If not, I just call them back on Monday. But I love my clients to call me, but
definitely.
Sundays usually is like a day that everybody wants to take a breather, right? Normally Saturday and Sunday. I mean, I don't have your average banker hours, right?
No,
but I'm in the mortgage industry.
Are bankers hours till 8, 9 o'clock p.m.?
Sometimes later,
sometimes
right?
Barbara has that,
but
so.
most loan
Yeah,
officers,
that's right.
9 to 5,
That's
8 to
right.
4,
Hello.
8 to 5:30,
Hello.
Normally. So Jackie does pretty well with this. So I like that.
So the Sundays, I didn't even bring that up, because I have this little thing. I'm not going to go into it right now, because it's kind of it may take up a little bit too much time. But I basically say to my clients, if I showed you homes, I often do work. There's lots of work to do, but showing homes on a Sunday is what's the most taxing. So I try to save that for special occasions. So anyway, those are the strategies prior to even going out to see homes, Barbara. So now that we've seen homes and the client has said to me, or we've looked at homes, I've sent notes, we've done all of these things here. The client is saying to me that they love a home. Okay, they've seen a home, they love a home. They are ready. They are ready to move forward on submitting an offer for this home. Okay. And so one of the first things that I like to do is as we're leaving the home, I like to call the agent and talk to the agent. Well, during the extremely busy time, I mean, when it was a seller's market on steroids with extra frenzy,
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I would call an agent and I was never able to get them. So it wasn't too many times, but it did happen.
Right, absolutely.
And so, whereas back in the day, you would get that phone call. You know, people know that they have a listing. You know, I like to do a call and a text to let them know, because they may not listen to the voicemail.
Right.
Because it's just a random phone number. But if they get a text, they are likely to respond. So anyway, I like to do that. And when I'm doing that, Barbara, I'm doing that to connect with the seller's agent, number one. But I'm also trying to find out what is the motivation of the seller. What does the seller really want? So that when this offer is being written, it can be written hopefully to win, okay? But if I don't know what that is, I'm not going to know.
Normally tell you that? Do you guys
Oh yeah.
normally tell?
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh,
you
yeah.
know,
it can't be anything personal and private.
Right,
But
okay.
for example, well, everybody knows that everybody wants the most money, so
Right.
the bottom line, okay? But sometimes, especially in today's market, the seller might need a seller rent back. Might need a rent back.
okay, I see
And
what you-
oftentimes that is going to be in the listing,
okay.
but sometimes it's not.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the last contract that I got, it was not posted in there.
Okay.
And so it wasn't until I spoke with the agent and my clients actually wanted to have a home that needed a rent back, because they wanted a little bit more time before they actually moved in. So that was perfect. I told her I was
Okay.
all excited about that. And then later on, something happened that didn't end up working out. We'll talk about that in just a minute, actually. So what does the seller want? Is it a seller rent back? You know, do they want an offer that where the buyer is not going to have a home inspection? You know, they don't normally come out and say that, but you know, if you have two offers and they're both the same and one is going to get an inspection and one's not, which one do you think is going to be chosen?
The one
that's
without
not.
the inspection.
That's right. Exactly. Sometimes they also need an extended contract over the 30 days.
Okay.
Sometimes it might be that they need 45 days because they're trying to navigate what they're going to do in the home that they're purchasing. They're still trying to find a home. So there could be all kinds of reasons. So I like to know what that motivation is.
Okay. Makes
The
sense.
next thing I like to know is if I can't tell from the listing that there is an offer deadline, I like to ask, are you thinking about having an offer deadline? Because what happens, Barbara, you go out to see a home and you see a home at, let's say, 5 o'clock, okay? If the house is in, I'm going to use Waldorf again. Waldorf, for me, that's a little bit of a drive.
Right.
You know, I've got to drive back home. I've got to plan how I'm going to eat. I know that you want me to write an offer tonight.
Right.
And it's time for dinner, okay? And people, I don't know if you know this, but I do love to eat. And so sometimes I have to plan every little thing in. And so
it's too funny.
yeah, when I left home, I knew that I had time to go to the grocery store. I knew that I had time to prepare. You know, it might have been a quick kind of a meal, but prepare something. But when it's time to write an offer, that's off the
that's
table.
out the window.
That's right. It's out
That's
the window.
all that's out the
That's
window.
right. I'm letting hubby know you're on your own.
That's it.
I might not
I'm
even
writing
have
the
time.
offer.
I might not even have time to fix a salad. Hopefully, there's some salad
Right,
in there.
right,
you know,
right.
there's something quick because I'm writing an offer.
Right,
and
absolutely.
so things change after you hear.
People don't realize how long it takes, because it takes me sometimes to input 2.5 hours to do a complete loan to get it to processing.
That's
So
right.
it takes time.
That's
it's
right.
not just
That's
we just
right.
sending it
Hello.
over. Just like
Hello.
with you, it
That's
takes a
right.
few hours.
It takes
for
time.
Each
Yes,
loan.
yes.
Each
And
loan.
that's what I like to tell the clients. It takes me 2.5, depending on what's going on. Because sometimes I'm not just doing that, but and it could take longer if somebody calls. But I'd like to know if there are other offers on the table also. Okay, do you have other offers? And if we can, as I said in the last segment, kind of get a jump on the showing and get a jump on this house, then it really does help. because if you are the first one to submit an offer and your offer is absolutely awesome, you might get that contract.
You might not want to look at anything else.
That's right. And that just happened. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. It just happened.
It was the end of May, and it was the first day on the market. We were the first to see it. Now, I didn't know that. 11 o'clock appointment, we saw it. We had been seeing homes since the end of March, so
Yep.
you better believe I was ready.
Yes.
And so anyway, I wrote the offer, and she called me up and said, because it was such an awesome offer, she said, no, we had not received any others, but we didn't need to.
Right.
So
we
it
like
worked
your
out
offer. We're going to
perfectly.
accept your offer.
That's right. And that does not always work.
First day
It
on the
does not
market.
al-
Isn't that
First
something?
day on the market, a few hours on the market, Barbara. Hello.
So it's better to be first sometimes.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Except in this market, you don't always see it. The clients, their needs and wants change, and
Right.
sometimes you look up and it's already day 10, and you're like,
then,
oh my gosh.
right. And depending on whether or not they're just saying we want the highest and best, we don't care.
That's
We want
right.
the highest and
That's
best.
right. That's right. That's right.
So we're going to wait.
That's right. Exactly. And some people that's another thing I like to find out. How are you, when I'm saying you, the listing agent, how are you going to handle offers? Are you going to collect them all? Are you going to eventually have an offer date and time, that all offers have to be in by? Or are you going to look at each offer separately as they come in? And this particular listing agent said, we're going to look at it separately as it comes in.
Okay.
But she didn't know that I was going to be the only one, I guess.
Right.
And I
At that
ended up being-
time.
At that
You
time.
didn't give
That's
nobody
right.
else a chance.
Hello. That was the whole.
Jackie said,
that was the
"No
whole
dinner for
thing.
me
That's
tonight.
right.
It's
That's
going
right.
in.
That's
It's going
right.
in.
It's going in.
It's going in." And then I get the infamous text message and email, produce your LE on this address. Don't leave me out of this. I don't care what day it is. I
glad
get
you
that
said
infamous
that.
email
I'm so glad you said
or
that,
text
Barbara.
message. We need an LE.
That's right.
And that's a
That's
loan
right.
estimate to
That's
see the
right.
charges,
That's
what's going to
right.
happen
That's
from
right.
this particular
That's
home.
right.
So
And I send
it's all
Barbara that
good.
listing so she can calculate the taxes and whatever
And
else
get everything
she's
that I
trying to
need.
calculate.
So the buyer knows that, yes, we're going forward with this. Yes.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So anyway, once we get all of that done and we are, we know that we're able to submit our offer in a timely manner. One of the things that I learned is even if they say they're not going to have an offer deadline, keep checking back. Because if I can't get it in that particular day, because things happen. Sometimes my clients don't have their EMD, Barbara, and I told them that weeks ago. Sometimes they don't. And then when they go to a bank, I was about to say a specific one, but it's any bank.
Right.
Then the bank is not available. The
not
bank is
available
not
to them.
open because of their work schedule. Now people are going back to the office. They can't slip out at 11 o'clock on a 15-minute break to go get that
get that
to get
EMD.
that EMD.
It's best to get it up front, get it
And
over
so
with, and sign the
that's
docs up
right.
front and get it over with.
Hello.
And get it over
So
with.
anyway, when that happens, then I have to take a pause. I have to, because I'm all excited. I'm
Right.
revved up. I'm ready to get this thing done. And then you're telling me that you didn't do something that we talked about 2 weeks ago. Okay. Let me
And
take a
tell them the
breather.
reason why you actually need that real quick.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yes. Now, I don't know if every agent does this, but I was trained and taught by my first broker to have a picture, a PDF of that earnest money deposit, so that the seller and the agent, they actually know that you have this, that you actually have this. They get to see that it's a cashier's check, and they know you have this. They know you are ready and prepared to go. So that's why I do that. And then it's a part of the contract. It just becomes a part of the contract.
becomes part of the contract.
And then
So-
everybody can see it, whoever needs to see it.
And I'm saying that because I want everyone to know, because when she writes the contract, she puts the copy of the picture. So it's not like you have to rush that day. Hand it to Jackie, but you need to have it so you can take a picture of it, send it to Jackie.
right.
So when she submits that bid,
That's right.
that picture is in there.
That's right,
And
that's right.
And that's what that's about.
And you actually, as I said earlier, have your actual cashier's check in a safe place in your home.
In a safe place in your
Just
home.
in case you decide not to pursue purchasing a home.
Right.
Things can happen in life. maybe it just got to be too much for you, or something else changed and you decided to wait,
You still have
you
your
can
money.
turn that in. It's not actually going to be submitted until usually 3 to 4 days after contract is signed. Usually I try
After
to
the
get it done
ratification
on,
of the
yes.
contract, so
Yeah, I
your
usually-
money doesn't go.
That's right.
Till the contract is
That's
ratified.
right. And Samson Properties, I absolutely love this. They have an e-deposit system.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
so
right. I
they
forgot
don't
about
even
that.
have to physically hand it to
Right.
me. That means we don't have to get back together again.
Right.
I'm on the phone with them and I'm kind of training them through, walking them through how to e-deposit, and it works wonderfully.
Awesome.
Everybody gets a receipt. Seller's agent gets a
Everything's
receipt.
electronic
I
these
get a
days.
receipt, and the client gets a receipt.
Everything's virtual,
That's
electronic
right.
these days.
Hello.
Awesome. Awesome.
So those are some of the things to really keep in mind, as I said, that I like to talk about when I'm calling it the listing agent. So next we're going to talk about, now finally it's time to write the offer. It is time to write the offer. One of the things that I also like to advise my client of is, if the home is listed for $400,000 and you really want this home, then submitting an offer over asking price, will get more attention.
Right.
Okay. And in today's market, that's what's happening most of the time. In a hot home, most of the time, it's not going to sell just for $400,000 because there are going to be so many, perhaps so many offers coming in. There'll be competition.
Right.
And so you need to be ready for that competition. So I'd like to find out in advance, if a house is 400, what would you like to go up to? Sometimes it's all the way up to their pre-approved amount that you've already given them, Barbara. And then sometimes it's in the middle, and then sometimes it's only $3,000 over.
Right.
So then I say to them, it's okay that if you want on a $400,000 home, you want to submit $403,000. Did I say that right? Yeah, $403,000. That sounds to me like you really don't want this home. And I'll laugh. If that's okay, I'll say. And I'll say, so if you want to have what I would call, and another time that I use this is when they want to go below 400,000.
Okay.
I use this term with them. I said, if you want to have an exercise in how to write an offer, that's what this will be.
Okay.
And that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Okay, because I've never written one with you before.
Right.
So it's an exercise in how to write an offer.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And so what that means, Barbara, is I'm not calling it a waste of time, but it's an exercise in how to write an offer. So you will get some practice in how I write offers and what they look like and all of that. Will you get the contract? Probably not.
Oh,
if you're
wow.
only offering $3,000 over, okay, you're probably not going to get
Oh, my
the contract.
goodness. Wow.
So that's why or if you're offering below market price or below the asking price, I should say, definitely not. Okay, that gets to me tossed to the round foul. You know what that is? The round of foul.
trash
The
can?
trash can.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they probably don't do that, but figuratively speaking.
Okay. The round
Because they
foul.
have so many offers coming in. And so just imagine you get, let's just say a small number these days, 10. You have to go through each one of those.
To make
you
sure.
know. Yeah,
Before
to
you
make sure.
even present it.
Well, yeah, I like to do that.
Okay.
Because presenting, you have to be ready. To me, I'm not going to present on the fly, not if I have
Okay.
multiple offers, because
Okay.
they need to be able to see, I have this grid that I have, and they need to
Okay,
be able
there
to
you go. That's
compare
what- okay.
homes. They need to be able to compare offers. I'm sorry, they need to
Right.
be able to compare the points
The
of the offer.
amounts and
So
everything.
yeah, so if you're just going on the fly and they're writing notes and they come back, what was that on house A, and
then you're
what was that
looking-
on B, and
you're
you're
sitting
looking.
there
No.
going.
I have already put all of the pertinent points on a grid.
Okay. Okay.
You know me, Barbara. Try not
I've
to-
already
try
told
not
you
to
about
waste
her, so
time.
you know her too. You know her too. It's the timeline lady, so
So the other thing is we're going to be paying attention to the amount, whatever amount you would like for your offer price to be. Talking about the appraisal and how that could come into play a little bit later on.
Okay.
I have actually have not written an offer where the buyer's offer basically stated that no matter what price the home comes in above asking, I'm going to go ahead and pay.
okay.
No, I have not written that type of offer. Okay, so That's important to keep in mind. And then one of my favorite things, Barbara, is that I like to do a summary cover sheet, summary of the offer, so that when the listing
each
agent
offer?
gets, yes, so that when that takes about 20 minutes just by itself. So that when each listing agent gets it, all the points are right there in front of them. So they can then
Wow.
compare that cover sheet to what I said is in the
Wow.
offer or what's in the offer, and then present it very easily to their person.
Wow.
So
This is interesting.
Yes.
Wow, Jackie. I mean, I'm learning a lot here. I mean, I knew she did a lot, but I didn't know how much she did. And she probably doesn't know how much I do to put
That's
it to a
right.
loan, but I
That's
didn't know
right.
all that she does. But I mean, this is a lot of thought taken into it, and that's why Jackie is so thorough and so prepared when she's putting that offer in. That's what I love about her. That's what I love about her, because I don't have to worry about that part at all. At all. I have several realtors. I don't have to worry about that part.
That's
And
right.
they know who they are.
That's
But
right.
I just want to say, just stay tuned. We have to go take another commercial
We
break. I think.
do.
We're gonna take another
We'll be
commercial
right
break.
back.
We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Tania McQueen. I'm the Residential Services Manager for Prestige Community Resources.
What our new facilities are respite centers. We're opening 2 in the city right now. Hopefully we'll expand to more. But respite centers are a place where people can come and get a little additional support with their mental health. Our one on Eastern Avenue is for men, and our one on Minnesota Avenue is for women. Our facilities are for all DC residents, especially focusing in on those in Ward 7 and 8. So they're really nice, and I'm excited for consumers to actually see them. What are the services that we're going to provide? Therapy, case management, medication management, all provided by professional staff, a licensed nurse practitioner, psychiatrists, sociologists, social workers, and then our paraprofessionals, our case managers. It's just a place where you can come and get the supports that you need to work on your personal goals, as well as to get your mental health straight. Simple, single adult, 18 years of age or older, a DC resident. You need to have insurance, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Still come, we'll work on getting you insurance. Have to have a negative COVID test, a negative TB test, and be willing to work on your mental health. For more information about respite services, you can contact us at 202-796-5000 or hit us up on our website at www.prestigecommunityresources.org.
I'm back. Mortgage financing and home buyer ready.
Yes.
I'm Barbara Graham Proctor.
And you know I'm Jackie Abrams.
And Jackie Abrams, and we're sitting here and we're getting down to the wire of this. So I want to get right back to Jackie, because there's some other little strategies and points that Jackie needs to give to you.
Okay, so if you are very serious about a home, there are certain things that if you had been counseled or advised on how to write an offer in the past, things are different now. We talked about that last week. So some sellers need a rent back. Some people say, well, I'm going to offer a free rent back to the sellers. You may or may not want to do that. You may or may not want to have to request a home warranty. I found out that oftentimes sellers are very, very compliant with that request. So
Okay.
personally, I would not throw that out of the window.
Get a home warranty.
Yeah, it's only $600. That's
get
what
a-
I usually ask
yeah,
for.
get a home
Yeah,
warranty.
that's what I usually ask for. Of course, asking for closing cost assistance in today's market. Hey, I'm sure there are some times where it was posted that a listing is going, a seller is going to give closing cost assistance, but you just don't see it that often.
You don't.
So
Not
depending-
now,
Yeah,
yeah.
and if it's a hot home, you can just pretty much forget it. Things like your home inspection. We kind of talked about that last week, where you may want to do something called a pre-offer inspection. Or for me, I'm able to look at the calendar of the person that I use most often, not all the time, but most often, and I can say right in my offer that a tentative date for the home inspection is 2 or 3 days from now. Okay, let's say. And so that lets the seller and the agent know that we're not fooling around. We're not trying to wait 10 days.
Right.
Which was historically what an agent would put on their contract, or their offer rather, that they would have that information back within 10 days. Now you do 5 days, 7 days, something very quickly. So you can do pre-offer, but you always, at least in my vantage point would want to do some type of an inspection.
Okay.
Some people are throwing that in the out of the water. They're saying,
Even
I'm
the
not even
pre-offer
going to
one?
do.
I'm just not going to do an inspection.
I'm
at
not
all.
going to do an inspection. I just
Okay.
had a listing, and that buyer chose not to do an inspection at all. So I didn't know if it was because that buyer had not been advised
Okay.
or whatever. So eventually I was able to ask that question, and I was told that that buyer just did not want to do one. So
Well, I had another client in another state that they were just totally unaware that they could do a pre-offer
That's right.
inspection. And
I think I spoke with that
yeah,
person.
I was just now. I said another state, right? I said another state, but I still had to call Jackie and go, Jackie. Okay, they're not doing this in this state. Could you speak to my client? Let's explain this to her so she can go back to her realtor in her state. So so I guess it just depends.
It does.
You
It
know?
depends on your frame of reference and your
Right.
experience. And I have to be honest, Barbara. Prior to about a year and a half ago, I had never heard of a pre-offer offer inspection either. So it just depends.
And
okay?
it's a learning.
You
It's a
live and
learning
learn.
tool.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And so what I learned, I'm using with my other clients in other states.
One of the things that I love that you do, Barbara, is that you help my client and you help me out a lot, especially when I'm talking with the listing agent, because your system does something called the AUS.
The AUS, the automatic approval.
Thank you.
And I guess a lot of people aren't getting those. I don't know why, but
Can you say a little bit more about that?
the automatic approval.
Yeah.
We talked about the automatic
Okay,
approval. I'm going to
okay,
do that
all right.
automatic approval before you get the approval.
I got you.
When you get the approval, you already know that it's automatically approved
That's
by the underwriting system
That's right.
of the program that you're going under. So therefore, Jackie already knows that it's not pre-qualified.
That's right.
It is pre-approved. And the only thing that can hurt that is if some documentation, physical underwriter looks at it and says, well, I need more explanation, or something's not right here, or something other than that. But has that happened a lot?
No.
No,
has
it
not.
just
has
doesn't
not. It has
happen a lot. And most of the times it's something dealing with work. Like if the hours are off, or something
Yes.
dealing with the work history,
That's right.
normally.
And
but
pay.
other than
And
that,
pay.
the pay, not the
Yes,
work, but the
yes,
pay.
yes, the pay.
But the usually the automatic underwriting approval. I mean, that's that. So
And I
you
love it
basically
because
know.
I use the first page of that. I actually send
That's
that
what I
along
give the first page.
with the offer. I send that in so that the listing agent knows without guessing, because seeing the word on a pre-approval letter, pre-qualification, could have different connotations. But once they see that AUS first page,
That means I needed documents
That's
to,
right.
to submit that,
that's
right? I needed
that's
documents.
Right, that's right.
Right.
So some other things that you can do that I like to call thinking outside of the box. I don't know how oftentimes this can happen, Barbara, so I don't know if you're able to lend a little information to this. Some advice has been to have the lender increase the interest rate just a little bit and then give the client a lender credit.
Okay, and all of that is good, and I think that's very good. And lenders, yes, can do that. Right now in this market with the interest rates, if you haven't even heard, they just raised 75 basis points, right? That's a quarter of a point. So in this market right now, with the interest rates going higher and higher, giving the lender credit becomes harder and harder. Okay. Now, I was last week able to give somebody a lender credit, but it was still a pre-approval. It wasn't locked in. They don't have a contract yet. They were going down payment assistance, okay, which is certainly different qualifications. No, not down payment. Yeah, down payment assistance and USDA. You know how we do that double team
That's
sometime.
right, that's
I'm not even going to talk about that. Y'all don't know. But anyway, they're getting a double whammy, right? No upfront pay, no closing costs, just a very little bit. And I was able to give them a little bit of lender credit with that. But it just depends on the situation. Yes, it depends on credit scores, because when you put credit in, a lot of that, depending on what the interest rate is going to be, what the cost is going to be, etc. So yes, if you're available or able to give the lender credit, then by all means. Is it a whole lot of money? It just depends. But right now in this market here, I don't know about lender credits, to be honest with you. But like I said, I just did one last week and was able to do it because they were using USDA in a Virginia down payment assistance program. So I was able to give a lender credit.
Excellent, excellent. Another thing that I was advised about, or just kind of spoke with someone about, was actually putting the credit scores on the pre-approval letter. How do you feel about that as a lender, Barbara? Of course, you have to have the client's permission.
I will not.
You will not.
I will not. Okay. That's a discriminatory practice, and I will not, because I may be able. Yeah, I can get somebody FHA at 580 and 750 alone. Okay, so depending on what the program is or what the loan is, I wouldn't skew their credit score. The credit score is on the automatic approval. I just send over the first page, and that's all they need to know. Right. But it's further down. I send the whole document over to the buyer, to my client. I send the whole document. So if they want to look at what FHA conventional, let me just say Fannie Mae or FHA or USDA, what they're looking at, I send the whole approval over to them for them to look at. But no, I don't think their credit scores.
All right.
That's a bias. That's a bias.
I'm so glad that we brought that up. Thank you. Okay, what we're going to do now is talk about some riskier strategies, Barbara. These are riskier strategies. We're going to kind of go through these quickly. Eliminate the home inspection. We've already talked about that. Eliminate the financing contingency. We kind of braced on that or broached that last week just for a minute or two. That is something that you can do, but I guess what that means is that the buyer is going to have to come to the table with a whole lot more money if the appraisal price is over the
if the appraised value comes in less than or at the contract price, you would have to come in extra with that money.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Depending on what you're working with.
That's right. Another thing that I didn't realize, Barbara, is that, and I know that some companies do give a loan commitment up front, that's another way of eliminating the financial contingency, because you have that loan commitment up front. I know not every, you're not able to do that.
I can if I wanted to.
Okay, all righty.
I can do it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I just don't never do it. Get the contract,
All right, okay.
But it can be done. That means I'm sending you physically the underwriting.
Okay.
And I can get that loan commitment.
Gotcha.
So I can do that.
Okay. So maybe we might save that for a special occasion when a client is actually.
Now I'm telling her something she doesn't know.
And, I learn something from you all the time, Barbara. Eliminating the appraisal contingency. Again, we've kind of already talked about that. The next thing is using the escalation addendum or escalation clause.
Right.
That is something that you have to know whether or not the seller wants to do that. Does the agent know what to do with it? That would be a question that I would ask the listing agent when I first call.
Right.
If I think that it's hot, that hot, are you going to be entertaining escalation clauses? And pretty much they'll tell you right off the bat, no, we're not. We're not. We're going to either just take the offers as they come, or we may come back and ask for highest and best. So it's always important. The person that I counseled from out of state said that they were using escalation clauses, and she didn't understand why it hadn't helped.
Right.
So I had to explain that to her.
Yeah.
So I said to her that your agent will have to find out if they're even looking at them.
Right.
Is it a tool that they want to use?
Right. So wow, this is good. There's a lot of. Let me say this. Jackie went over a lot of stuff today. If you want this information, you know how to get it. homebuyerquestions@gmail.com, right? Like there's a lot of tips. Like I'm looking at her documentation here that, we give each other documentation when we're talking about something. And she has a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here that maybe she might not have gotten to it all because we only got an hour show and we did this in 2 shows. We're trying to help you. If you want to know more information, homebuyerquestions.com, right? And today, this has been wonderful. Just like last week. How to win a bid, how to win a contract, home buying, buyers versus sellers. This has been so wonderful today, Jackie. I appreciate this. I'm hoping you guys are appreciating this too, right?
Yes.
So next week next week.
Special guest?
We're having a special guest next week.
Yes.
We're having a special guest come in that's going to talk about homeowners insurance policies,
Yes.
right? Things you need to know so you're not getting gypped off of your homeowners insurance policy when you're buying these new houses, because I have seen some.
Yes.
Right. So we're going to have someone here next week to talk to you about that. We're excited about her coming in. It is somebody that we use frequently.
Yes.
So we're excited about that coming, and we're so excited that you have joined us again today, and we're happy about that. And we just always. You do the line, Jackie, because you do it well.
Yes. And we just want you to know, we want you to remember that we are goodness gracious, that we are here to help you understand your power so that you are home buyer ready.
See you in
You
two.
too.
Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.